What is up, everyone? Here we are, sitting down, another video. I thought I'd spit some knowledge on you guys, at least my personal opinion, what I've discovered in the fitness realm in my 16 years of lifting now, I think. Oh my gosh. 16 years of lifting, I think, maybe more. But anyways, regardless of that, people ask me all the time, still to this day, man, I can't eat every 3 hours. Do I have to? And I say, what? Do you think the human body was really made to eat every 3 hours? And they say, well, I want to optimize. I don't think the human body is supposed to be so jacked. Well, what's the purpose of muscle gain when you think of it? Let's just keep it basic, okay? Your body creates more muscle when it needs to adapt to a stress. So, I mean, if you're out there lifting logs all day, let's say way back in the day, right? Your body has to adapt. It says, listen, this is the kind of work I do. Your muscles got kind of beat up today, and we don't want this to happen. You obviously need these. We're going to keep repairing. We're going to keep growing. Now, if you didn't eat every 3 hours back then, do you think that you just wouldn't get stronger? I mean, let's get logical here. Back then, you probably, it'd be a little harder to get to your specific look as in body fat versus muscle ratio. We can agree to that because we weren't going for a look. But the whole mechanism behind your muscles growing is they need stimulus and then they need to be repaired. That's it. Now, nowadays, I mean, you could eat all day. You don't have to eat every 3 hours. I mean, 3 hours, you could eat literally every minute. You could just get a bunch of roast beef and take a bite every single minute, right? Never stop. It's not necessary. What's necessary is you eat the amount of food that you need to eat. Hitting your macros. Now, a lot of you will be like, dude, I eat every 3 hours, man, and that's what I was told, and I look great, and I'm sure you do. I 100% am sure you look fucking awesome. And awesome, great. But calculate all those calories and the macros that you're eating in those 6 meals for the day, and then squash it into 3 meals, okay? And do that for a week, see if you look any different. Now, if your brain is so set on eating 6 meals a day and you think that you look better on 6 meals a day and you just believe that, by the time you go to 3, you're going to start feeling like shit just mentally because your belief system says 6 meals a day makes you fit. So naturally, you're going to be all messed up. Like when I first did macros, right, and I went from a traditional bodybuilder, eating every 3 hours, eating only, brown rice, sweet potato, oatmeal, that kind of thing. And then I did macros just on numbers, and I went to like eating Pop-Tarts and cereal. Right away, I felt horrible. Like it didn't even hit my bloodstream yet. And I was like, oh, I don't know, man, I feel gross, I'm looking fat. That was just my mind. I had a belief system that these foods make you fat, and there's no way around it. That's why I had to experiment myself. And I had to get over that hump mentally. You'll see someone that goes on a cheat meal, and before they really actually eat anything, they already feel like shit after a bite. And it's like, it hasn't really hit your system yet, so I don't understand how you're already feeling these symptoms. It's your brain. Your mind really does everything. At least that's the main part of it. Anyways, getting back to this before we're on the normal rant that I always rant about. I always get on these tangents. Are 6 meals needed? Do you have to eat every 3 hours? And the answer is no, you do not. Can you only digest 30 grams of protein per meal? No, you can digest more than that. You digest what you need. A lot of these have been from studies that didn't take into the full effect of everything that was going on. The human body uses what it needs and it repairs how it's supposed to. If you give it adequate fuel, adequate stimulus, adequate fuel, it'll do what it's supposed to do, which is repair and grow. There's not really any way around it. Me personally, my sweet spot was always eating around 4 meals a day. Just with my schedule, it was, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then maybe like a post-workout shake. And that was always like kind of like, I enjoyed that one the most. Lately, what I've been doing is 3 meals a day. Now, I'm not going to get into it too much, but intermittent fasting, let's say, it might have some benefits health-wise, but the grand scheme of things is really hitting your macros for the most part. For the most part, I mean, that's like 99% of it. If you overeat, you're overeating. But I eat 3 meals a day, and a lot of the time I eat in a very small window for the most part. And just because that's what I like to do. When I wake up, I'm not very hungry. I'm not starving. So I usually start eating at like lunchtime. I'll eat, this changes all the time, but usually it's all within a short period of time. Like for me, today I got up, I wasn't hungry. I just was not hungry. I had some coffee, I waited, then I got real hungry later on. I ended up eating a big meal. Usually for me, I eat about 1 pound of meat per sitting. You think that's a lot, maybe it is, maybe it's not for you, but I eat 3 meals a day. Breakfast is usually eggs, some bacon. I cut out oatmeal. I'm a little bit lower carb right now, a little bit more fat. I get into the kind of like the health aspects of life, and what's more beneficial to me in what I need to do and the way I train. Carbohydrates are very important for training, regardless of what anyone says to me. A lot of people, man, I run on fats, man. Well, you need carbohydrates is glycogen in your muscles, so I don't know what to tell you. They also keep you full. I'm not a fan of keto diet. I never will be. Basically, what I really like to do is a moderate diet, a balanced diet. High protein, of course, and moderate fat, moderate carbohydrates. And then usually if I have to get to extreme levels of losing body fat, I usually do it by lowering my fat intake. Mainly because the carbohydrates give me the most fuel in the gym. And that's really it. But regardless of that, back to the topic today, is I honestly, from everything I've seen and experimented with, diet-wise, you just gotta hit your numbers. 6 meals a day, eating every 3 hours is not necessary. It's not. Hey, sue me. If you guys are pissed about that, and you guys are like, what? I eat every 3 hours, man. My bro told me, and he's shredded. Then do every 3 hours. But you don't have to do every 3 hours. A lot of people don't diet, or they don't, when you make things too complicated for people, a lot of the time, they don't go through with it. They just decide not to do it. They're like, this is too fucking much. I'm not doing this. I gotta eat every 3 hours. I gotta prep my meals. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. It's not that complicated to look good. I'm sorry, it's not. It's good to have a coach. Like, this would even make me lose some people in a way. But, having a diet coach to get you to these specific levels and someone to motivate you daily is awesome. I do that and I help people the best I can. However, I think a lot of people overcomplicate things, and I think a lot of coaches out there overcomplicate things, getting people leaner because, they want to make money. So they can make it very complicated. They can make it look very scientific, very, very crazy. Like, if you didn't talk to them, there's no way you could ever figure this out. They're geniuses. But when you see this, a lot of the time you see this in competitors, competitive coaches, and that's a whole different level. Because a lot of that's juggling different drugs. I hate to say it, but that's just what it is. It's nothing to take away from them at that level of competition. It's something that they kind of got to do. And when to cut their water, when to add their carbohydrates, all that kind of stuff for a contest. So that's a whole different ballgame. And most of that stuff's written in magazines, and who's writing this stuff, and how do you keep making a new magazine every fucking month with a new diet, and this diet contradicts last month's diet, and you just keep recycling stuff. And guys, moral story is, eat healthy, okay? Exercise hard. Constantly mark your progress down, all right? You don't have to eat every 3 hours, all right? I eat 3 times a day. You think of it, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If I need a little snack, maybe I'll have a little shake, post-workout or in between, to hold me over. But my meals that I eat are larger. I take some digestive enzymes to help me break down like a pound of meat. It's really not hard for me to break that down anyways. I actually have a harder time breaking down like gluten and like carbs. Not white rice. White rice I kind of just burn right through. But when I'm eating, like if I eat pasta or cheeses, it's harder for me to digest personally. But eating a pound of meat, like the other night I had 20 ounces of steak, and it was just, my body just tore through it. Felt great. But anyways, I'm gonna go keep ranting if I keep talking like this. Moral of the story here is you don't have to eat every 3 hours to get results, okay? That is it. I go on these rampages of chatting, but I hope you made it this far, and don't let, all this stuff that's out there try to complicate your mind too much and make you feel like, mentally exhausted and overwhelmed because, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this. The simplest thing most of the time is keeping it simple. That's the best thing. Keep it simple. Do the basic lifts, mark improvement, and eat real, healthy, natural food. If you need specifics, obviously I'm here, but don't have to eat every 3 hours. If you like to eat every 3 hours, go ahead. If you like to do that, go ahead. I like to eat bigger meals, so I just eat 3 huge meals. And it's subject to change. Maybe I'll eat 4 huge meals one day. The other day I ate 2 huge meals, and I felt phenomenal. The next day I went to the gym, and people were like, man, you look huge. I was like, all right, man. So, who knows? All right, guys, that is it for the raves today. That little rant today. And come back with some more stuff next time.